tuning in to D4 Sports, Day Drinking with Don and Dustin. I'm Don.
And I'm Dustin, and we're bringing you sports talk from around the world and drinking tips to make every game a winner.
We appreciate you checking out our podcast. So now,
live from Lubbock, Texas,
and London, England,
this is D4.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 91 of D4 Sports Day Drinking with Don and Dustin. And I am Don, or just call me Nick if you will. And here in London, beautiful sunny day. Got my air conditioning on.
Well, that's good.
I'm sure you do as well, Dustin, in Lubbock.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's early, but not too bad at all.
Not too early.
No, especially
another Saturday show for us.
Yes, and another Millwall match on. So.
Another Millwall match where, we can live tweet through the game. Good start this time.
Very good start. Holy cow.
Yeah, we're up. Is it still 2-0? Yeah, 2-0?
Yes, but despite just the score itself, the way they're playing right now is aggressive and just smart soccer.
Good news. Technically, right now, we are alone in second because the table updates live as the game starts. So if we win this, we would go to 76 points. That would put us one up on Ipswich, who plays Middlesbrough later today, and that is certainly the game of the day. Or they play tomorrow, I guess, don't they? Tomorrow,
correct.
Yeah. That's definitely the marquee matchup of the weekend in the Championship League.
And as much as you don't want Middlesbrough on our tails, you want them to win.
I want them to win this game.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because if that's the case, if we win and Middlesbrough wins, we are alone second. Ipswich still has the game in hand. They got one more to play than us. But if we win out, we've got a shot. And I think this QPR has got to be the toughest team we've got left, right?
Yes, I think they're 10th or 11th.
Yeah. And Stoke, I guess, we're playing them, right? I think, and they're 13th or 14th. But
right,
two other bottom of the table teams. So there's your live Millwall update for those who were clamoring. And actually, Dustin, we got a new listener this week. Let me give a shout out to Chris Turner, who I work with during the day. And we had a lively pub session on Wednesday that went, it went late. I didn't expect it to, but actually another listener, John Woodard, started messaging me as I was on my way home. I was just about home. I was just out off the tube and walking the 2 blocks to my house, and he starts texting me, and that picture that I sent him, which he said I didn't look too good, and I disagree, of course, but the timestamp on that picture is 11:57 p.m. So, for a Wednesday pub session, that was pretty solid.
I would say so, since you've told me that most pubs close around 12.
Well, most of them close at 11 during the week, but yeah. I mean, I had to travel home, and anyway. And I'm not going to throw him under the bus. There's one guy at work that every time he comes in, I'm going to throw him under the bus. It's James Rowley.
I was going to say, you're already, like, this story is starting with the bus in transit.
So James is a great guy, but James, I went to Budapest with James. He was one of the guys I was with in Budapest, and but James likes the pub, and hey, nothing wrong with that. But this is the kind. So like, there's this bar not far from work that we've ended up in several times called Piano Works, which is, I don't love Piano Works. It's so called a piano bar, but it's really just like a club. They just got a band up on stage. It's too loud. It's not my favorite place. Anyway, there is an underground bar on the way there that literally is in, like, you go into, like, I don't even know what it looks like. It just looks almost like a little, like a newsstand on the corner, but you open it up and you walk downstairs and there's a cocktail bar down there called the Rabbit's Hole. Well, we tried to go in there a couple months back, but we were too late that particular night. It was like a Thursday night and there was nobody there. So they closed it down early, about 10 o'clock. Anyway, I mentioned that to James. I was like, hey, sometime we should check out this bar. It's on the way to the Piano Works, so we don't have to go there. And I was thinking to myself, as soon as I told him, I'm like, I know he's going to try to get us to go there tonight. And sure enough, like 10:30, I mean, we are pints in, right? Many pints in. He's like, let's go to that cocktail bar. I'm like, no, James, no, we are not going to that cocktail bar tonight. But that's the kind of guy James is. And he and I, ended up the night with him buying me one more, of course, at the Old Red Lion on the way home. And anyway, solid. Anyway, all that to say, Chris Turner, new listener. Sorry, I got sidetracked, as I never do.
I was going to say that never happens.
Chris Turner, good guy. I told him about the podcast. He listened on the way home, and he sends me a text on the train home. He sends me a text. He's like, okay, what's the deal with Millwall? And he's like, and he said, I've been there as an away fan. It's not a very nice place to play. So tells you about the Den.
Sorry, Chris.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who his team is, actually. He lives in a really small town, almost a village, as he actually described it, down about an hour south of London. But anyway, so Chris gave us a listen, so that was good of him.
Well, I will say the announcer this morning at the start of the QPR Millwall match said Millwall has done surprisingly better at away games, which is surprising. He goes, yes. But what is really surprising is that they're doing better, and the Den is an intimidating place to play. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what the surprising thing is yes, It is surprising to win on the road more than at home, but the Den is an intimidating place. Or let's put it in real terms, not intimidating. It's not a nice place to play, Chris. It can be probably ruthless.
Well, yeah, okay, yes. I was going to say, I mean, it's a good stadium. I mean, it's a good venue to watch the game. The field is good. The stadium is nice.
It's not run down. It's not
not at all. No, it's not. No. So it's a nice place to watch a game. It's probably not the greatest place to go as away fans because, as you know, many of our hopefully all of our listeners know, the Brits are a tad vocal, when it comes to cheering for your team. And
let's be honest, we were away fans for about 20 minutes when we went to our match because, us being avid fans of Millwall went with Watford
maybe
to
walking the wrong direction.
Away gate.
Yeah, that was stupid. I'm surprised that we didn't get hacked.
I blame the Brits that we were with.
We weren't with any Brits, unless you're counting me.
You
as
and Karen.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we can't blame Karen for that either. She don't have a
no, you can't.
I bet anyway. We'll move on from that story. But Millwall's in action. New listener, Chris Turner. Pub night, which is a nice lead-in to drinks of the day because I'm keeping a good thing going. On that night at the pub, so this is actually a lot of fun. There's a brewery called Badger. It's a Badger brewery. I think I've maybe mentioned it before. And I think they're based in South London or maybe south of London. Anyway, they make good beers. One of them is called the Firsty Ferret. Firsty spelled F-U-R-S-T-Y. Another one, Tanglefoot, which is, frankly, the shirt you're wearing today. The Trash Pandas. What is that? A little league team or is that?
Yeah, it's Hunter's little league team.
Oh, it is. Okay, I thought maybe it was like a minor league team, but I mean, it could be that too. But so that's the kind of thing. Like, I'd be surprised if they don't have a Trash Panda.
If they don't, you need to say something.
I'll let them know. Anyway, I strayed. That's a cask ale, and I decided I want something a little colder. So I didn't actually go. I usually go Tanglefoot, sometimes the Ferret. They're both good beers. I branched out a little bit and went with a Pilsner, and I rode it all night long. A nice Pilsner, and I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna mix it up. I'm just gonna stick with it, and yeah. So but except for the last one of the night, we went to a different pub, and I topped off the night with a Guinness because why not? But I decided this time today I had it home. I thought I'd keep the beer thing going, so I've got this. It's a Belgian beer. It's called Lefse, is the proper way to pronounce that. It's Leffe, but it's pronounced Lefse. Left's a blonde. It's a nice Belgian beer, pretty strong, actually, pretty potent. 6% ABV, which is certainly compared to most British beers, quite strong.
I was going to say that is strong for over there.
Yeah, most everything here is 4%, 4.5%, sometimes even 3.5%. Even like your IPAs or your session IPAs. But
well, I watched this.
It says.
Go ahead.
It says right on here, subtle notes of vanilla and clove, which maybe it does. Like
vanilla and clove in a Belgian beer.
Yeah, so that's what I got for the day.
I don't like Belgian beer very much.
No.
Mm-mm. But
yeah, it's got that distinctive sort of tang to it, right?
Yes.
And I don't know what the right word for that is, and I'm not sure what
Bad.
gives it that. The ingredients, as you disparage an entire nation, one of the all-time great beer-making nations too. Water, barley malt, maize, barley, sugar, and hops. Maybe it's the sugar. I don't know. At any rate, it's a good beer. I really enjoy it.
Well,
so there you go. The brewery started in Anno 1240.
It's an old beer.
It's a long time ago. Long time. It's an old beer.
Yeah, it's an old beer.
a little flat. Anyway.
It's not like wine, which would be an expensive wine if it was to 1240 wine.
It would still be vinegar. Wine would not be any good either at that point. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that's what I'm drinking for the day.
I watched a reel today. There was a brewery that did something in conjunction with Millwall for today's match. And they were talking about their beers. And they had several. So, you can get your flight and try different things. And all of them were 4.5. And I thought, that sounds about right. Like
that's very British
in regards to the British beers. Yeah. And I mean, you get over here, and at one point I thought it was kind of, I guess, not snooty, but kind of like the snooty is the word I'll use in regards to drinking. And it's like, oh, well, I had an 8.7, or I had a 9.5. The higher you went up, you're kind of like, I had this, and then. 2 of those, and you're like, well, I had. So, I don't think that I would like to continue to, raise the bar on potency.
Yeah. Well, and I've definitely been with people who simply order the strongest beer on the menu every time. And it's like, I'm whatever. And hey, people drink for different reasons. And, if you want to just pay as little as you can to get you as far as you can. But I'm like, if you're drinking a beer that's 8 or 9 or 10%, why not just drink whiskey? I mean, it'll get you there quicker, But anyway, all right, what do you got?
Speaking of whiskey, I've got bourbon.
Do you?
I do. In this coffee mug, it is Black Rifle Coffee Company. The coffee I'm drinking the flavor says bourbon. So
nice.
Don't think there's actually bourbon in it, but
probably not.
That is the flavor that they are selling that I have in said mug. So nothing drastic
taste
today.
Like bourbon at all, or?
It tastes like coffee that tried to be bourbon, but
fair enough.
It's manageable, but no warm fruit. Sparkling water this go around.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Yeah. That was nice. Maybe I get you a little cherry pie. You like cherry pie?
I don't like warm fruit, Nick. I think we've...
Well, I
don't even like cherries. No, I don't like cherries.
All right. Well, fair enough. Huh. All right. Well, there we go. Maybe if it was Belgian, maybe warm Belgian cobbler, maybe that would do it for you.
Probably.
All right, well, fine. If you don't like fruit, give me an opening shot then.
We'll go with something that you don't like.
Oh.
How about that?
Okay.
Alex Ovechkin. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, well, yeah. As have our listeners. We had the Ovechkin watch, and he toppled the great one and is the all-time leading goal scorer in hockey. Correct. Tremendous player. Can't disparage him.
Did you see what he has said recently?
I have not. I mean, I know he hadn't ruled out not retiring and coming back for another year. Is he going to, or?
Pretty sure that he'll try to come back for another one.
Really? Okay.
Yep. And in the interview, it said, I guess his son, Sergey, asked him, "Are you going to come back? We want you to come back. We want to watch you play again." And I mean, I don't know. Was it Jaromir Jagr that was the manager player for a couple of years?
Yeah, he's approaching Jagr-esque. He definitely is. I did look him up this year. He still had a decent season. As a goal scorer, I want to say he had 32 goals. He played all 82 games. I mean, so that's
saying something in its
own right.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Really is.
Yeah. Because most guys, by the time they get to that age, he's 40, right? And let me see what his time on ice per game is 17 minutes and 26 seconds, which is like second line numbers. And I don't know if he plays on the first line or not.
That's definitely below what he probably was in his prime, but still, that's a good amount of time for a 40-year-old.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like Nathan McKinnon, who was a leading goal scorer, but not the leading. He was like a third overall scorer, 22 minutes and 15 seconds on ice. Connor McDavid, 22:59. Your top players play 20 to 22 minutes a game. So Ovechkin may very well have been on the second line this year. And his plus minus, I mean, he's -5 on the year, right? Which puts him well outside the top 100.
But what does he have to prove at this point?
Well, true. Well, but the question is, look, I mean, if you're scoring 32 goals, you're good enough to play in the NHL still, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Obviously, if you're plus minus, if you're minus, I don't want to say you're a straight up liability, but and of course it depends on how good the team you're on. And I know the Capitals didn't make the playoffs and all that, but
I would love for the manager of that team to come out and be like, "Now, Alex,
he's a liability.
You are a liability here, but
we'll keep you around." No, look, he's no longer the best player in the league. I don't know if he was ever the best player in the league, to be frank. But
he was playing. You had Sidney Crosby in his prime when Ovechkin was kind of in his prime. Surely at one season he was the best player, right? Like he's. I'm not a huge hockey person, but I know who he is.
I mean, sure. Oh yeah. I mean, look, Ovechkin is obviously he's the greatest goal scorer of all time. You can't not say that, right? In terms of just raw numbers, I mean but I don't know if he was ever actually truly the best player in the league. I don't really know. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever won a Hart Trophy. I mean, he's a winger, I think. So right, he's just a shooter, which is what he's there for, right? I mean, which again, not that I don't say just a shooter because I mean, again, he's 40 years old and puts up 32 goals and 32 assists. So 64 points puts him. Let's see, what's he top? I guess he's going to be 70th in the league in scoring, right? Total scoring. Which, you're maybe not an all-star, but that's pretty darn good, especially for a 40-year-old guy out there, right? So, I don't know. I'll defend him a little bit. Do I think he should come back? Probably not, but
he's no LeBron.
If he wants, he might. He's kind of like LeBron, actually, in some ways. But all right, well, let me give you a couple of quick ones because I had a couple of quick ones. The NFL draft is coming up.
Yes.
Next weekend, obviously.
Very soon.
And
very
all
soon.
I have to say is I can't wait because the mock draft thing is the most ridiculous thing in the world to me. And like posts about, like social media. I don't even know what we're doing on social media anymore, but it's like, the Patriots just upgraded their offensive line. I'm like, what? I'm thinking, did they make a trade? No, this is like an article based on a mock draft. I'm like, what are we even doing? Right.
Guys are getting paid good money for it too.
But you know what I'm excited about is that the world's largest rubber duck has pulled up in Pittsburgh. ahead of the NFL draft. Yeah. He landed. He doesn't have a name. He should have a name, but 61 foot tall, 64 feet wide, and 74 feet long rubber duck is sitting right outside the stadium where they're going to have the NFL draft. And there's even it'll be welcoming guests, and there's a 2-day duck tailgate party.
I don't know. I got nothing.
No, but I mean, if you want to de-forify something, the NFL draft, I believe having the world's largest rubber duck goes a long way to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, side note, I don't know if you heard that, they're for the World Cup in New York, they've outlawed, or they're talking about outlawing tailgating at MetLife Stadium. And actually, they're not going to let anybody drive and park there, so you have to take the train, and then they jack the train prices up to like $100.
No,
Ridiculous.
It's 150 now. Because they said they were going to do 100, and they went up.
It's going to be the ultimate price gouge. No tailgating there, but if you want to come to the NFL draft, you can tailgate with the rubber duck. Would you go tailgate with the rubber duck?
If it was in Lubbock, probably.
How would the rubber duck get to Lubbock? How would the rubber duck get to Lubbock?
For the NFL draft, I'll tell you that.
No, you're not a Pittsburgh fan, huh?
No.
Never been there. Baseball stadium's nice.
I've heard it's an awesome place. A non-avid listener, but good friend of mine, Sam, said that's one of his favorite stadiums to go to is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, PNC Park's supposed to be one of the nicer in the league. I will say that much. Now, if they could just, get some baseball, that would be good. But
man,
actually, well, we'll talk baseball in a little bit, but we'll leave it there for now. So with rubber ducks and trash pandas and Belgian beer and I don't even know what else we had.
Badger beer.
That Badger beer. There, it's all happening. It's all coalescing here on D4 Sports. Business on episode 91, where, like I said, just at the end of last segment, everything's sort of coalescing into greatness and excitement around here. With Millwall, of course, continuing, still up 2-0. We were just talking in between segments about the table and how Coventry, who you said just got promoted, hasn't been in Premier League in, you said 20 years? Is that what you said? 20-something years. But all three teams that we're battling have all been in the Premier League. And, so this would be, I don't know. We got to get it done. If we don't get it done this time, I don't know. I don't know what it will take. I don't know if we can I don't know if we'll be able to get the investment and we keep our players if we don't make it. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to come hunting. They're going to offer too much money for some of these guys, for our better players, Femi Aziz, maybe Denori, I don't know. Some of these others, and I don't know. I have a feeling this is kind of a make or break year.
So, yes. And I've done a little research on Alex Neil, who is our manager. He has been promoted with 3 different teams. Now, not all to the Premier League.
Okay.
Okay. So he's been promoted with Hamilton Academical. He led them to promotion to the Scottish Premiership.
Okay.
Completely different league, obviously. Yeah. In 2014. And then in 2015, he led Norwich City to the Premier League through the playoff final. And then in 2022, led Sunderland from League One up to the Championship League. Nice. He's also been manager of Preston North End, Stoke and then now Millwall. So that's quite a few teams, right?
Yeah.
And I asked you earlier, and you didn't respond. Do you know how old Alex Neil is?
50.
Is that like he looks?
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't think you would actually know, but just by looking at him, looking at him, I would have said mid 50s.
Yeah.
He's 44.
He's old school.
Being a manager is rough, I guess.
I guess. Yeah.
But all that to say, though, he's done a good job at different places that he's been.
Yeah.
And he's not a stranger to having teams that, have been promoted and done well. Obviously, Millwall, this team was not, they have overperformed, if we're being completely honest, which is great because they're still playing well enough to get there. But this was unexpected, and we're riding the wave. And so we'll see how it goes.
We will see how it goes. So, so that's rolling in. Premier League, big week in the Premier League, as several teams have 2 matches this week. So could make a difference. And we were just talking about this too. I thought I'd done really well I've got 8 of guys in my lineup who are all have 2 games. And then I looked, and Sammy, the guy who's in first place, has all but 1 guy on his bench. And the one guy he doesn't have 2 games is Bruno Fernandes. Although he's not playing him, which I find curious because he's been one of the top scorers.
I was going to say Fernandes is huge.
Yeah, he's been arguably the hottest player in the league for the last probably 2 months, 6 weeks at least. But he only has 1 match. But I still think Bruno's likely to outscore some of these guys in 1 match than 2. Yeah, I mean, you never know. But anyway, he's got like an entire team, so whatever. There's that. But we'll see how that goes. I bumped ahead of you last week, jumped up into 4th place. So let's see what I'm at 16.
I've definitely had a precipitous downfall.
You slid a bit. I'm at 1682. You're at 1668. So we're close to each other. The next person, I'm in 4th place. 3rd place is 1800. So I don't think I'm making up 118 to get into 3rd anytime soon. But I guess you never know. But sometimes you know. So anyway, so that's that. So not a whole lot of other D4 business right now. Have you anything you can think of?
No. Still just waiting on that interview for the Final Four or the bracket winner. But we'll get to that eventually.
No, let me do it now. How'd you make your picks? What was your strategy? I went by mascot and population size of each city that the school was in. I obviously knew what I was doing because I didn't have anybody in the championship game. Yes. I didn't have anybody in the Final Four.
That's a lie.
So.
I had UConn. That's a lie. I had UConn, okay. But I didn't have them winning. So.
Which is, well, they didn't, so it doesn't really matter. But, nobody in the bracket picked the winner, so I guess there's that.
So I find this funny. So UConn in the past 4 years has won it twice. Mm-hmm. And Michigan has won it once. So that's 3 out of 4, right?
Yeah.
Terrace Reed, who was the center for UConn this year, played 2 years at Michigan and then 2 years at UConn.
And didn't win any?
And didn't win it.
Nice.
I mean, it's funny, but you're like, oh, man, poor guy.
That's bad luck.
You've been on some squads and...
Yeah. That is, oops. Or maybe that just says something about, about him.
Hopefully not. You don't want GMs to look too closely at that for the NBA.
No. Well, and it's interesting. So you mentioned that, and obviously the NBA playoffs just got started, and
kind of
as what? Well,
the play-in tournament. It'll start today.
Well, wasn't Phoenix and Golden State?
The play-in to get to the playoffs.
Oh,
yeah, okay. That was the play-in. So now
I see.
Now, so starting today are the series.
Okay, so I guess I thought there were 2 play-in teams. And is there only 1 or is there 2?
You have 4.
Well, there's 4 that play in the tournament, but there's only 1 of them get in, or do 2 of them get in?
So 7 and 8 play. 2 of them get in. 7 and 8 play.
Okay.
Winner of 7 and 8 go directly in.
Oh,
8,
okay.
9 and 10 play. Winner of 9 and 10 then plays the loser of the 7 and 8. The winner of that game.
So Phoenix is in and the Warriors are out because the Warriors beat the Clippers. That was the 9 and 10 game.
Yes.
And so then they played Phoenix.
Had lost to Portland.
Got it.
So Portland is the 7 seed, and then Phoenix had to win last night to be the 8 seed.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. I thought that Phoenix and Golden State score was like round 1. But anyway.
Really needed Phoenix to beat Portland.
Because Phoenix wouldn't have been the number 1 seed. So yeah, what's that?
Yeah, Phoenix really needed to beat Portland. Because going in at the 8 seed.
You don't think they're taking down the Thunder? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, but what I was going for here was, you talk about college players, and obviously the draft is coming up, and the NFL draft is coming up, and the NBA only has 2 rounds of a draft. It's not even much of a spectacle anymore, and that sort of thing. But drafting is notoriously hard, and there are some players who are sure things who just don't materialize. And I saw this. I saw this. Like a reel or whatever it was that had the top 5 all-time players per point. That is, how much money did they make per point scored? Right? So you don't, although frankly,
for basketball?
2 of the players in the NBA.
Okay.
Now 2 of these players are really good players. They just happen to be defensive players. So that's maybe the only way that you really want to be on this list. But let me ask.
Greg Oden on it?
Greg Oden was not, which I was surprised about. But I think because Greg Oden probably only got 1 contract, right?
Yeah, he got injured, and then Sam Bowie on it?
He barely played at all, right? So, yeah. So anyway, any other guesses?
Sam Bowie?
Sam Bowie's not on there, no.
I mean,
salaries weren't that high back then.
Well, that's true too.
In the 80s. Yeah.
Oh, man. Kendall Marshall.
Nope. One more guess, and then I'll run through the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5. No. Number 5, Zion Williamson at $21,680 per point. He's made $115 million in his career. He scored 5,280 points.
Really?
Yeah. So probably needs a little more time on court. Number 4, Joakim Noah, right? Who again, great defensive player. Yeah. 143 million, but has only scored 5,880 points. Another player,
another Marcus
defensive.
Smart?
Marcus Smart is not on there.
Okay. I'm
number 3, Rudy Gobert. Gobert. Yeah. Rudy Gobert, again, really good defensive player, has been paid $260 million in his career and has only scored 10,468 points for 24,960 points or dollars per point. So
definitely not an offensive,
but you're paying him for defense, right? So, you don't get paid $260 million if you weren't doing something.
Yeah, both of those guys are rebounding defensemen. Right.
Number 2, I thought you would get this one, is Ben Simmons.
I'm surprised he's not number 1, A+++++.
Ben Simmons has been paid $203 million and scored 5,012 points for $40,500 per point in his career, which is
that's
not a good ROI. And honestly, this last person, I'm sure you know who he is. I don't even know who this is, but Jonathan Isaac.
Yes.
Jonathan? I don't. Jonathan Isaac
plays for the Magic or played for the Magic.
Has been paid $101 million and scored a whopping 2,097 points for $48,550 per point in his career.
I wouldn't have gotten Jonathan Isaacs. Ben Simmons, I should have got. Ben Simmons that was that low hanging fruit that I missed.
He he definitely was. Yeah, I thought you were going to get that, but
I think I was going more old school, like complete flops of the NBA draft that just
I figured Greg Oden would be on. That was my first thought too, because he was number 1 overall, right? And
he was dominant at Ohio State.
He was tremendous.
So dominant. But
apparently he had no knees. So
that's true.
All right. Let me Oh, I got to talk about this one. So we talked a little, I think we probably talked horse racing at some point on here, because I'm a big Kentucky Derby fan, which of course is coming up first Saturday in May, right? First Saturday in May. So just a couple of weeks, right? Kentucky Derby's coming up. I've always wanted to go. Never been. One of these years I'll probably get there. I hope so. We just had the Cheltenham Festival over here, which is one of the bigger horse racing events in England. And a part of that is the Grand National. And now I sent you this video. And I just have to say the Grand National is such a phenomenal event. And it's steeplechase, right? So first off, it's like a 9-minute race. It's 4 miles, right? It's a 4-mile race with horses. There's about 40 that start, and they jump over 20 jumps, like big hedgerow jumps.
It's right? It's like the 4-mile hurdles.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. And and of course, a bunch of the horses don't make all the jumps, so they'll fall. And listening to it, the announcers are just so casual. They're like, oh, and Bambridge is gone. And they're like, this horse falls and he tumbles over and the jockeys get hurt and sometimes the horses get hurt. And they're like, oh, and he's gone. And they just literally it's like, it's not even a thing. It's just, a horse, 3 horses didn't make that jump. They're all gone. And so there's that. But then you have the horses where the rider falls off and the horse keeps running. And they stay in the race. And they're literally, at points, running right up alongside the leaders. And the leaders of this race, this is like the Kentucky Derby of horse racing in the UK. Mm-hmm. And you have jockeyless horses, like swerving back and forth right up at the front of right at the leaders. And so the leaders are having to like dodge these, random
stray
horses.
Wild horses. Yeah. I think the best one I heard for me was like, oh, we lost Panic Attack. Oh, good. No more Panic Attack. I didn't want the Panic Attack either.
But even better than that, if you watch the video, and again, I said it to you, I know you probably didn't watch the whole thing, but you watched part of it. You're watching and they're showing the horses around the inside of the race course. There's a paved area and there are ambulances just driving along and following the horses so that invariably these horses go down and the jockeys get rolled over by a horse, a flood of people rush out to grab him because it's multiple laps around and they got to get him off it's just insane. It's just insane. And it's a fantastic race. It's like 8-9 minutes long. It only about half the horses finish. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
This, could you imagine the chariot races? Like watching this,
no way.
Chaos and just Well, so you sent me that video.
There are still chariot races that happen, but
I'm just talking about it in Roman times.
You're talking ancient Rome, ancient
at the Colosseum, and that's what I'm saying.
Like, the Circus Maximus, I know, good stuff.
So with this video, my buddy that does sports radio here in Lubbock, Choice, they all the time on the show, like they'll read texts from people, like they've got the line and they're talking. Somebody will say something and they're like, ooh, good horse name. Like that's one of their things throughout the whole, they've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Oh, great horse name. Great horse name. So I sent him this and I said, you guys need to do a parody of this with the horse names that y'all have come up with on your list. And I said, do a parody of it. and then post it on social media. I haven't heard back from him.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great idea. He hasn't. It is a good idea. Responded. So I think it would be hilarious.
Yeah, and let's face it, Panic Attack is a good name for a horse, I think. But
I think this would be a good name for a horse.
Trash Panda,
and a beer. Trash Panda is
absolutely. Yeah,
gotta love the raccoons, baby.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can cheer for. I'm not particularly a fan of raccoons.
I'm not
real
either.
Raccoons,
but no, well, right, obviously.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you like raccoons. They're kind of nasty. Mean.
Hunter likes his eye black, and so like putting it on underneath. But I'm like, if you're going to be a true trash panda, you got to put them above the eyebrows too.
Go the John Randall, right? The nice.
Oh yeah. Man, we've strayed. We've jumped the rails.
Yeah. Well, we have. But also, just for the record, in case anybody cares, I Am Maximus won the Grand National, which, again, good name for a horse. And I Am Maximus is one of the few horses who won the Grand National a couple of years ago and has reclaimed the title after winning this year. Which, again, is odds because usually in most horse racing in America, horses all have to be the same age. Clearly not the case with the Grand National. I don't know what the rules are for it, but you can't,
Do owners not, they do the bloodline and all that stuff. Do they not have the same name of an offspring, or do they just? I
oftentimes I know in America.
I don't know anything about horse racing. That's why I'm asking. Genuine. I don't know.
Yeah. I know that a lot of times, if you're a colt or a filly from a famous, in a famous bloodline, they try to give it a similar name in the U.S. anyway, and I would assume that's probably global, so that people connect it, in some sense. But it's not always easy to do that.
Okay, so you didn't want I Am Maximus to win, and then I Am Minimus to win as well. I didn't know if it was like having a goldfish that died, and you're like, oh,
you can't name your horse I Am Minimus.
Oh, come on, that'd be funny.
Well, yeah, but okay.
That'd be funny here down the racetrack. I Am Minimus coming up behind.
I don't even know.
And Trash Panda wins.
I'll give you one more since we got into names here, albeit horse names. There, someone just broke Usain Bolt's under 18 world record for the 200 meters. 19.67 seconds. Under 18, breaking Usain Bolt's record. You know what his name was? Gout.
Does he have gout?
Which,
did he
for
win?
A runner,
did he win?
For a
with
runner,
said disease.
Gout has to be arguably the best name. And with that,
that's something.
D4 business has come to a close for episode 91. All right, sports roundup time for D4 Sports. Drawing all the threads together, we're coalescing, as we've said. We've hit track and field, we've hit horse racing, we've hit basketball, soccer, football, American football. This is, and I've got more. I can go broader. I'm
not surprised.
Well,
we did hockey.
We talked hockey. We got everything. We're going to hit baseball here in a minute. So let me start with tennis because some news, not good news, mind you. Carlos Alcaraz has withdrawn from Barcelona this week after winning the first round match and tweaking his wrist. And he's not only withdrawn from the tournament, he's also withdrawn from Madrid next week after losing in Monte Carlo to Jannik Sinner. And Sinner reclaims the number one ranking with that win in Monte Carlo, which is frankly kind of surprising because I think Alcaraz is the better clay courter of the two.
Agree.
So a little surprised because, I think, and I'm no expert in this, but I believe most tennis players would say that the surface in Monte Carlo is the closest thing to the red clay in Paris for the French Open than any of the other tournaments, which, I guess we'll see. And frankly, if Alcaraz can't, he's not going to have a full clay court season, right, to prepare for the French Open. And we'll see how bad that wrist injury is.
Was it his left or his right?
Had to be his right, I would assume.
His hitting, yeah, okay.
I mean, I guess it could be his left, but because he does hit a two-handed backhand some of the time, right? But
I didn't know if there was like a fall with an outstretched arm or if it was just a tweak. Or
I think I read it said he felt something twinge when he hit a return or something.
And that for a tennis player, that's not a good one.
Yeah, no
wrist, elbow, shoulder
problem can be. Yeah, I mean maybe it's minor, right? Hopefully it's minor. So yeah, a little tennis news there. Djokovic also withdrew, by the way, from Madrid, and just got to wonder how much longer he's going to hang around. But I guess he's going for one more season. So there's that. The Masters. We talked a bit of Masters last week. Did you watch any of the Masters at all?
No.
He said,
did I follow? Yes.
So actually, yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I was going to say, go ahead and tell who won. I'll let you do that.
Well, McIlroy ended up winning, right? But obviously, when we did our show last weekend, we did the podcast last weekend. After the second round, he had the largest second round lead in history with a 6-stroke lead, I think it was. He was 12 under. The next closest was 6. Looked like he was just going to waltz in, and oops, not quite. As I think he shot even or maybe 1 over on Saturday.
I think it might have been a 1 over on Saturday.
Because I think it was 11, yeah. And then
to allow players to
yeah, so everybody caught back up. Justin Rose catches up. Patrick Reed catches up. Oh, by the way, Scotty Scheffler shot a 65, a 7 under bogey-free 65 to pull within 5 shots, so outside chance.
So I didn't watch, but I did follow.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe track it on your phone and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But the stat that I saw was, so the guy that was 91st in driving accuracy for the Masters was got 91st place. The guy that had 90th driving accuracy, McIlroy.
Interesting.
So he
I
may
guess
be the master of the getting out of a bad situation in golf.
Yeah, scrambler. Yeah, that'd be your scrambling stats, obviously. I mean, yeah, you can do. Well, the Masters is such an interesting one, and I mean, because of the back nine and how either the two eagleable par fives. You have the 16th hole, which can be tricky, but is also, I mean, a lot of guys can put it close on, especially on Sunday with that pin placement at the bottom of the hill, and everything feeds right down to it. So, there's a lot of holes on the back nine of the Masters that you can, well, frankly, all the par fives at the Masters, the second hole, the 8th hole, the 13th and the 15th, all of them are birdieable in any hole. So if you just birdie those, now right? But if you just birdie those for 4 rounds, that's 16 under par, right? And so now I guess that's the case on most, but not all par fives are created equal. And that's one of the things that makes the Masters so exciting is that the course is set up for exciting back nine, right? And a Sunday charge. You've got incredible risk rewards holes like the 12th, right? The very famous short par 3 12th, where how many players, I mean, Greg Norman famously, Rory famously, in just some of the biggest collapses on the 12th, but several other holes that are also, risk reward. So it becomes like that. But
So like we said last Saturday, before round 3.
Yep.
Now that Rory has won that first one.
Yep.
And now a back-to-back.
Yep.
Is this, I mean, I know it's a year away, obviously. I get it.
Yep.
But the monkey's off his back. Is he the type to go out and just kind of produce more wins?
If he had come in the third round and shot 2 under par and gone to 14 under and come in on Sunday and shot a nice tidy, 2 under par to go 16 under and win it by 5 or 6 strokes, I would have said maybe so. But he didn't do that. And he made everything interesting. And he made it interesting on Sunday as well. And last weekend, I was like, you don't want to let Scotty Scheffler back into it. And sure enough, Scotty Scheffler, bogey-free Saturday and Sunday, the first player at the Masters to go bogey-free on Saturday and Sunday since 1942. Ends up second place, 1 stroke behind, and just somehow, I don't even know how he missed a putt on the 17th hole in the 4th round that would have ultimately sent it to a playoff. So anybody who counts out Scotty Scheffler at any course. Yeah.
Right.
But Scheffler's on another level. He really is. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know my answer to this. But does the lead going into Saturday make Rory lax or play too relaxed? My answer is it shouldn't, because he's a professional, right?
Yeah, well,
knowing golf, like, it shouldn't affect.
No.
But at the same time, there's always that human element to the game.
They famously call Saturday at the Masters moving day, right? Again, because
it just shifts so much.
Because that's everybody. These are the people that have made the cut, so they're playing well, And again, the Masters is a gettable course depending on how they set it up, so that you're almost never out of it. I mean, if you're within 3 strokes of the lead coming into the back 9, you have a legitimate chance, right? And I don't know this. I mean, I'm curious to know if they intentionally set the course up with more generous pin placements on Saturday, trying to make that shuffle happen. But what that leads to is aggressive play. The Masters is not a course, Augusta National or whatever, is not a course that you can just sort of, play conservatively your way around. It is a course that demands aggressive play in a lot of situations. And so I think you have to go out and play. It's, however, 6-stroke lead, especially with a guy like Rory who can hit it so far, there's nothing really out of reach for him. You do wonder if he goes out and he has a little more conservative mindset and it bites him a bit. I don't know. I don't think so with him, but it's certainly possible, right?
Right, and that's my thing. Like, I know my answer in regard to being a professional, and it shouldn't matter going into that day what it looks like, right? But there's a human element to it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk a little baseball, because last week we brought up the topic of, believe it or not, parity in baseball, and I just pulled up the standings again, and no one in the league has fewer than 7 wins at this point, which is... I looked this morning at that, yeah. Even the Colorado Rockies and the Mets, who've lost 9 in a row, are at 7-13. That's the worst record in the league. And you have, the Dodgers at 15-4.
15-4.
Right. So they're way out
as
there.
They should be with their payroll.
Right. And you have the Padres and the Braves at 13-7. And 3 teams at 12-8. Everybody else is between 11 wins and 7 wins. So I still got to believe this is not going to last. But
no, it's not going to hold up over the course of 162 games.
No, but it's surprising that nobody has a worse than 350 winning percentage at this point in the league, I would say.
Right.
On the Dodgers, just what everyone needs with a lineup like they have, the Dodgers lead the league in turning ground balls into outs and defensive runs saved. I saw a stat that against the Mets, in their 3-game sweep of the Mets, I think the number was 25. They hit 25 ground balls, and the Dodgers turned 22 of those into outs, which is a lot. That's a lot, right? And like literally the last thing anybody needs is for the Dodgers to be the number 1 defensive team in the league, right? I mean, they've already got the ridiculous lineup with Ohtani and Freeman and Max Muncy. Mookie Betts has not even played this year. Kyle Turner, right? I mean, what's the center? His name looks like Pages, but how do they pronounce it?
Pages.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't 100% sure. Right? Who's playing out of his mind right now? Right?
Yep.
I mean, they've got
Tescovar Hernandez.
Teoscar Hernandez, right? They got him. And then you go to their pitching, of course, with Yamamoto, with Ohtani, it's a stacked lineup top to bottom, and then they turn out to be the best defensive team in the league. Come on now. I don't know. If they go on and get close, let's say they threaten the 116 wins, right, that the Mariners put up. And nobody really thinks that Mariners team was the greatest team ever. But let's say they go on and win 110, 112, and then plow through the postseason. Nobody's ever had an undefeated postseason. You've had a couple of teams, I think, that have only lost 1, maybe 2 games. I almost feel like even if they go on and do that and they're like, oh, this is the best team ever, it's almost an empty honor because of how much money they've spent. It's like when you have a $400 million payroll, it almost doesn't even seem like it's like empty praise almost, I don't know of another team that I've thought this team absolutely ought to win the championship this year, hands down, more than this team.
Yeah.
In any
They're
sport.
on pace for 124-38 record.
Which they won't.
No.
Maybe they will.
No.
But they're not. I mean, yeah. I don't know. You go to some of the Bulls teams with Jordan, there was a sense of inevitability about them. The Warriors felt inevitable for a few years, right? Maybe, but not to this point. Hockey, you had some really dominant teams back in the day in the 80s and 90s with the Gretzky Oilers, the Canadiens before that. But, you're talking 40, 50 years ago now. I don't know. I guess the Celtics, when they won, 14 in a row or whatever stupid number that was, right? But I wasn't even alive then, so I don't know.
UCLA college basketball.
Yeah, but nothing in our lifetime.
Before we were.
Can you think of any team in your lifetime that you feel to yourself like, if this team doesn't win, like, shame on them, right?
There were a couple years with the Yankees in the early 2000s that maybe not like this, but that were really good.
Yeah, no, the Yankees had some really excellent teams in the late 90s and early 2000s. That's true. Maybe the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. I don't know.
Maybe they were good.
Yeah. I don't know.
The other day, speaking of those Yankee teams, that said more people have walked on the moon than have scored against Mariano Rivera in the postseason.
Nice. That's pretty good.
To say how good they were.
Yeah. A couple of pitching updates. Oh, here's a fun fact. Every team in baseball has won a game on the 15th of April at least once in the last 15 years, except the Tampa Bay Rays. So if you're a Rays fan, don't watch on the 15th of April, tax days. Currently, 10 pitchers.
Passed.
Go ahead. Yes, well, of course. They lost this year too. Right. Okay, man. Anyway, 10 pitchers are currently averaging 6 innings per start. That's pretty good. We had our second complete game of the year, but you probably didn't hear about it because it was George Kirby for the Mariners It was an 8-inning, 3-2 loss to the Rangers. And he only threw 90 pitches. And he didn't give up the 3 runs in the 8th. So I guess, kudos to the Mariners for sending him back out there. Of course, they didn't play a full 9, so he didn't go 9, but he went 8, and it counts as a complete game, so that's good. And on that note, Justin Robelski for the Dodgers pitched a really great game. He had a 4-0 lead. He had a 2-hit shutout with no walks and 90 pitches, and they pulled him after the 8th inning.
Jeez.
And he, get this, he was the first Dodger starter to record an out in the 7th inning this year.
Nice.
What are they? 15-4, we just said. They're almost 20 games into the season. They've had one starter has recorded any outs in the 7th inning. That is remarkable. That is remarkable. I mean, I know we've harped on the relief pitching thing, and it's an issue, and whatever. We're going to keep on it. Not the way we used to be, but I mean, that is stunning that the best team in baseball hasn't had anybody other than one guy go more than 6.
So, speaking of pitching and being dominant, and I know I brought him up last week, but Mason Miller is having a good start to his year.
Indeed.
Do you know what his ERA is?
It's got to be close to 0.
0.00,
All right. Solid.
9.1 innings, and 23 strikeouts.
That's not
bad.
bad.
Do you know what his strikeout percentage is?
I mean, he's only got 28 outs, so 23 strikeouts and 28 outs. That's a lot. That's
77%.
Yeah, okay.
76.7%.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
pretty good.
And I've got towards the end of the baseball talk, I got a trivia question for you. So
okay, well, go ahead and do it now. I don't have much more for baseball at this point. So what do you got?
And at this exact moment, Millwall has won 2-0. So
nice.
There you go.
Would have been nice to throw another goal or 2 up there, but we'll take it.
And we had opportunities; it didn't go. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in regards to breaking up no hitters, okay, who leads baseball in breaking up no hitters with 81 home runs? Has broken up a no hitter, one player,
81 times
with 81 home runs.
That's Albert Pujols.
It is a baffling question, right? No,
it is.
It's not Pujols.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not Pujols. You have to think a little outside the box on this one.
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's not Bonds. 80. I don't know. Oh, Ricky Henderson.
Wow. See, but you had to think outside the box, didn't you?
Leadoff hitter.
You had leadoff hitter. 81 home runs as the leadoff hitter. Now it's, the first batter of a game. And
right. Yeah.
Obviously.
And he's the all-time leader in leadoff home runs. So yeah, there you go.
Yep. I saw that on a reel where a guy asked that question and nobody was getting close. And one guy was like, "Oh, that's easy. Ricky Henderson."
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good trivia question. But look at me coming through. That's what we do here on D4. Everything coalesced. Everything coalesced together. I pulled it all. I racked that oversized cranium of mine, and that was
impressive. That was impressive.
So, well, thank you very much. And with that, we will call it for the Sports Roundup with a Millwall win, impressive trivia performance, all sorts of different other stuff. That's what you're looking for when you come to D4 Sports, episode 91. the last breath, the last straw, last call from the bartender. Dustin, what do you got for a last call for me?
All right. So I found this extremely interesting.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
NBA wins since 1997.
Okay.
That's a while
It's
ago.
a long time ago. Okay, so 30 years. All right.
The Washington Wizards.
Not many.
972.
Okay.
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 Tim Duncan. 1001. And he retired 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well,
Ouch.
I mean, 900 sounds like a lot, but in 30 years, that's only 30 wins a season. That's not good. Not
No,
good.
but 10 years ago retiring.
Yeah. Well, Duncan was good, and he was on a really good Spurs team. So there's that. So, yeah.
Still.
Yeah, I know. I get you. I get you.
I mean, yes, the meme could have, put the Spurs logo, but it's much more fun to just have
to just have Tim Duncan. Yeah.
One individual there.
Nice.
So what do you got?
Yeah. Well, I've got two. One is a callback to last week because remember we had Champ the Bat Dog, right? And for the Durham Bulls. Well, another minor league team, the Clearwater Threshers, which is a Philadelphia-related minor league team, also has a bat dog. But Lucy May is not quite ready. Lucy May, they released her. After the play was over, she ran, sniffed the bat, and then just kept on running. She ran into the opposing team's dugout. She comes back on the field. She trots around. They call her back. He's the trainer, his whatever owner says, no. We'll give you another shot. Releases her again to the bat. She runs, sniffs the bat. She runs up to the pitcher. She walks between first and second and takes a dump on the field. Lucy May. And then she gets up. And by this point, of course, the crowd's loving it, right? She circles back and she never got the bat. So
she's no
I don't
champ.
know. She's no champ. And I don't know if that was like a joke, but if you've got a dog that's trained to pick up the bat, you'd think they would at some point at least grab the bat and bring it. That dog did not look like it had any intention of picking up that bat for a moment.
Right.
But so anyway, Lucy May is no champ, but I'll tell you who is a champ. And this one is going to hit close to home. Colin, I don't know how you say his last name. I think it's Hodet, Hodet. Colin Hodet. If you have heard of Colin Hodet, I will fall out of my chair. But I'll give you any guess, any idea who Colin Hodet is.
No, I'll just say no.
He is a professional cornhole player. And Colin Hodet is a professional. I also think, and no knock to Colin Hodet, but I have a feeling based on the video that I saw that he might be on the spectrum somewhere because he certainly kind of appears to be. But Colin Hodet at the Kansas City signature event tied the record. I can't believe this is only a tie and not an actual record for the most consecutive cornhole bags made in the competition. Any idea how many that was? Consecutive cornhole bags made.
32.
59. 59 consecutive cornhole bags in the cornhole, I guess. And Colin Hodet, you are an honorary D4 hero. D4 member, nice. D4 hero, D4 Hall of Famer. I mean,
that's impressive.
You enjoy some cornhole, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
At 59?
In my lifetime, yeah.
What's the most you think you've made in a row?
In a row? Probably 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I haven't got close to that. I know.
Yeah. Not anywhere in sniffing double digits.
Yeah. No, I was watching this video and they're like, there was a caption, ties the record from, and I keep watching. I'm like, okay, 10, 11, 15, 16. Now, to be fair, some of these came up short, and then the next guy knocked him in, but that still counts.
It counts.
It counts as his going in. So, and there was one that was about 32 that barely went, but I mean, I don't know. It was impressive. It was impressive. So there you go. I'm trying to think of anything I could do 59 times in a row.
Take a drink. See, there you go.
Without spilling. That's pushing it. I don't know. We'll have to see on that.
Questionable.
Depends how many pints in I am. But if I'm 59 drinks in, I'm a few pints in. So that's the thing. Once you get past, anyway. All right. Well, I think that pretty much brings us to a close. Do you have any final thoughts for episode 91?
I do. I want to give a shout out to my daughter who doesn't listen, Ansley.
Yes.
She did track this year, and she's not fast. She doesn't have the speed. So coach is like, all right.
She's got her daddy's wheels.
Mm-hmm. She's like, all right. The coach is like, all right, we're going to put you in the mile. Mind you, she's never run the mile in her life.
Mm-hmm. Ever.
Until the very first race. That was the first mile she ran without stopping.
Okay.
She ran a 7:58.
Wow. Yeah, that's sub 8 minutes. That's pretty good.
For never, ever running. So
I mean, it's no gout, but
it's no gout. So she ran for a month. Like that was the track season, basically.
Yeah.
And so district was this past Thursday, and she didn't come close, but I was very impressed and proud of her. 1 month of running. So last race, she shaved 21 seconds off her PR.
Nice.
And in the very next race, shaved 26 seconds off of that PR.
Hello. All right.
So in her last race, she ran a 6:58.
Wow.
So in 1 month, shaved off a minute.
A minute off her mile time. That's impressive. That is impressive.
So I told her, I said, hey, maybe you're a runner. And she's like, no. Nope. I'm not going to do it.
Fair enough.
I said, Ansley, I just want you to know you beat my half-mile record, and you ran a mile. So good job.
Probably mine too, unfortunately. I don't remember the last time I timed myself in a mile. I mean, I know I've done it on the treadmill, but I usually shoot for a 10 to 12 minute mile, so I ain't running fast. Boy, I know I ran under 8 because we had to. It was either middle school or freshman football. But I mean, I was 15 years old, right? So, and I don't know that I've ever run much faster than that, nor have I wanted to. Right.
The fastest I ever ran was a 6:12.
That's good. That's respectable. It's respectable.
Well, in high school, there was a bunch of kids that were faster than me. And so I had to get good at something. So I was like, I don't want to be a runner. I'll be a jumper. So
there you go. Yeah. Well, with that, congratulations, Ansley, honorary D4 member. Not that you weren't already, but now you officially are, after completing a successful season of track and running a faster mile than either of us could hope to. With that, we will call it a week. Episode 91 of D4 Sports. Out. D4 Sports is brought to you by Don and Dustin and by our sponsors, Sports and Day Drinking. Special thanks go to Trey Klein for providing the music behind D4 and all our friends and family for supporting us throughout this effort.